Well, hello everybody. This is Dr. Troy Dukowitz of the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action to create big-ass results in your life and business. Today's topic is this: parents, listen to your children. So here we are. It is the Christmas season, and we are, our house is all festive now. We've got the outside decorations up. We've got the inside decorations up, and the last piece of decorating for the year is always the tree, the big tree. We have about 6 trees in our house, but the big tree is a 12-foot tree, extremely wide tree that takes anywhere from 4 to 5 hours just to put together, and then it takes time to obviously decorate it. And so this year, the boys asked if we could put rainbow lights on the tree. Now, rainbow lights are, as you and I would know, multicolored lights. So Mommy and Daddy said, of course, we'll go ahead and try something different. And so as I'm putting together a tree, I had this realization, and it kind of hit me right away, like, oh crap, I'm not going to have enough multicolored lights. And I don't want to use lights that I've had for a while, because if they go out, it's way harder to put them on this tree than it is to like take them off and put them on the tree than it is any other tree where I can just sit and kind of reach everything. And so I make the plan. I'm going to go ahead and put the tree together, and at the end of the day, when we pick up Wyatt from school, we will go pick up lights. Well, as we went to pick up lights at Walmart's Christmas Center, the boys are kind of walking around. They're playing with toys, looking at toys, and this like 6-foot stuffed monkey they're dragging around. Out of nowhere, Watson walks up to me, and he takes a box of the multicolored lights, throws them in my cart, and says, "Daddy, you're going to need this one." And he walks away. I'm going, what the hell's going on here? And I look at him, and I look at him putting that in the cart, and I was already sitting there having a hard time figuring out how many boxes I needed. I had 4. He made it 5, and I think to myself, and I literally say this out loud, all right, buddy, if you tell me that's what I need, that's what I'm going to get. Well, you know where the story's going. Lo and behold, I get home, and guess what? We needed the extra box. Excuse me, folks. We needed the extra box. And so it really just brings to light. I've had this conversation with Wyatt before. Wyatt's done this before, where he says, "Daddy, I think this. Daddy, maybe we should try this. Daddy, you might want to grab one of these." And every time they have done that, it has been right. And I even told Wyatt at one point, I said the same thing to Watson yesterday. I'm like, you guys, if you have a thought, you have to share your thoughts. Share those things with Mommy and Daddy. And as long as we are open to receiving, then we're going to be on the right page. And that's one of those moments where I was open to receiving. The worst thing that happened is wrong, and I had an extra box of lights. You can't have enough lights, because if one goes out, then you could actually change the lights, right? And so this really comes down to our lives, though. And it says, okay, well, where in our life, though, are we not listening to people? Where in our life are we not trusting in other people? This just came down to me trusting a 5-year-old. He just turned 5. I was going to say 4. He just turned 5 years old. This is just me trusting his intuition, his innate, and what he was telling me. Wyatt has done this multiple times over. And it's just a matter of me trusting my children. And I can tell you, when I haven't, then that's when things have gone awry. Now, I'm not talking about when your kids come up to you in school, when they come up to you in the grocery store and they start throwing stuff in the cart. There's just random stuff. I'm not talking about when they come throw a random toy into your cart. I'm talking about there are situations that we get ourselves in life where our children have input. And if we were to stop and take a breath and listen, that we would see that input is incredibly valuable. And we have people like that in our lives. We have coaches, we have mentors, we have trainers, we have our spouses, significant others. We have people in our lives who offer that to us, but the question becomes, how often are we listening? How often are we heeding that advice? And I can tell you that it's not often enough. So the challenge for you today is very, very simple. It's to look at your body in all dimensions and say, where in my life am I not listening? Where in my life am I not following through? And I have to actually just stop for a moment. Like right now even, you have to go, oh, I'll get to that later. No, you're not listening to me. Stop right now, everything that you're doing, and say, in my health, in my relationships, in my spirituality, in my business, where is it that I am not listening to the advice that is being given to me and not using the advice that's being given to me? I have clients who are this way. Like all of a sudden they finally listen to me. They finally do something that they say that they're going to do, and they go, wow, this might actually work. It's like, no shit. Imagine if you would just trust the process more often. Imagine if you would just go all in more often. But what happens is we get in that left brain and we start thinking, we start rationalizing why things may or may not work. And we think that we have all this control here without understanding that there are messengers in our lives who have been sent there to help us, to support us. As a coach for almost 20 years now, I have this experience of knowing that, like, man, people get in their own way. We get in our own way. I've done it before, and so have you. What would happen if you just started taking on if you have a trainer, you just start doing what the trainer told you to do? Eat the way they told you to eat, exercise the way they told you to exercise, get the amount of sleep you're supposed to get. What would happen? How would your life change if you just listened to their advice and took it? I say this to clients all the time, like, man, we come up with some good stuff on these calls. Imagine if you just followed through. Imagine if you just did the things that we're talking about. And when they do it for a moment, a couple of moments in life, they see success and they go, oh my gosh, this might actually work. Yeah, guess what would happen if you did it over and over again? You would have sustained success. Unfortunately, most people have random success because they don't take consistent action. So here's the deal, folks. You've got the assignment. It's pretty simple. Identify one, where in your life are you not listening to the advice or counsel of mentors, trainers, and coaches that you have in your life, that you're resisting it. When in actuality, the reason that you're only resisting is because maybe the fear of change, or the fear of the work that has to be done, whatever it is. But if you don't want to stay where you are, then you have to do something that you've never done. And so that means taking on that advice and actually going all in on yourself and on your coach, on your mentor, on your trainers, whoever it is. So identify, number one, where in your life are you not listening to that advice that's being given from these people that you entrust your life with? And number two, what's the action that you can take today? One action that you can take today to start following through on those commitments that you seem to say that you want, but you haven't done anything about yet. That's all I've got for you here today, folks. Hey, just a reminder, go ahead and head on over to commitandgo.com. You can get information about myself, about my coaching, about my speaking, but also upload or download, if you will, the free, what's called the gap map. What the gap map is it helps to identify gaps from where you are in your life to where it is that you want to go, targets and goals that you want to hit. And you identify that gap because those are the obstacles. And then what do? You brainstorm what are the things that you have to do to move past those obstacles, move past those obstacles to get to where it is that you want to go. In other words, this is an action guide to your success. Number two is, if you have enjoyed this podcast, I ask that you please subscribe if you haven't already, but also refer me to other people. And as always, if you would, leave a review, a rating, and just keep passing it along. That's all I've got for you here today. I am Dr. Troy Dukowitz. This has been the Commit and Go podcast. We encourage you to make big commitments, take big action to create big ass results in your life and business. We'll hear you next time. Bye-bye.